Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Cindy Van Arnam. She is a master book of life numerologist, an intuitive and divine timing coach, and the host of Life at Full Blast podcast. Welcome, Cindy. I am so happy and honored to have you here. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I've been looking forward to this and I'm really excited for our conversation today.
Yes, I am so excited too. We've been trying for a while to get this done. So it's nice to finally have the time to have you here and share a little bit about the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do and a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. Now, you wear a hell of a lot of hats. That's quite a resume. And it would seem that all of the hats are very closely tied together with one another through the thread of intuition, divine guidance. So first of all, I'd love to know, how do you find the time for all of this and how do you prioritize? How important is prioritization and organization for you?
Very.
In a word, very.
Yeah, simply, Life at Full Blast podcast, I live life out loud, very loudly. And so I believe in a concept of work hard, play hard, but also rest hard. So I find that I stick to a very strict schedule. I only work certain hours on my business. And then I only play certain hours when my fiance is around and I rest certain hours. I make sure that I take care of me, because when I take care of my energy, then I can show up for all the other things. And yes, it is about prioritizing what's most important in my business, in my personal life, and for my health and well-being.
Yeah. What's most important at that moment.
Yeah. Staying
Absolutely.
present.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm curious then, with you wearing so many hats, what does your morning routine look like?
It changes. It shifts based on what I need in that moment. So again, prioritizing what's most important for me at the moment. But there's always an element of sitting in quiet meditation or contemplation and really setting my intention for the day. I also look at the numerology influences for the day and the astrology and what's going on out there.
Which we will get to shortly.
Yes. And I always do some sort of reading for myself as well, just to set myself up for success with that intention and checking in with my energy. What do I need today? And am I going to go hard or am I going to pause and slow down? And from there, that leads into whatever might come next. Maybe it's an extra cup of coffee. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a full-on workout. Maybe I get straight to work. It just depends on what that first moment of sitting with myself asks for.
Love it. And so what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do, Cindy?
I am on a mission to eradicate spiritual poverty. And I think that when good people make money, they do good things in the world. And I see so many spiritual humans, whatever label you want to give that, Christian, spiritual, human, just human, who are afraid to put themselves out there and go make a lot of money because they're afraid that money is the root of all evil. There's so many stories around that. And I came from a place where I was broke all the time. I was really struggling, borrowing from the bank of mom. I had a horrible money story. And as I shifted that, I started to see how I could support others in shifting it. And so the nature of my work isn't really about the money conversation, but I help people create that financial pathway for themselves.
Which is beautiful. So many people need help with that because a lot of people, everyone has their money stories, right? Money doesn't grow on trees, all of these things that we've been told and conditioned growing up. So
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, a beautiful piece of the work that you do. Can you share with us what you were doing for a living before you made the jump into entrepreneurship, and what was the catalyst for that shift for you?
Oh my gosh. I never held a job for more than a year before I started as an entrepreneur. So that should tell you something right there. You name the job, I've probably done it. Psychic hotline, landscaper, chicken farmer. I worked as this teacher of English as a second language teacher. What else have I done? I worked on the pipelines in Alberta.
Wow.
You name it. I've probably done it. Bartending. That was the last one, was bartending before I shifted. And what happened was, I'm sure we're going to get into more of my story, but at that time I was really struggling and I just didn't know what to do with my life. I had been seeking, I had been doing all this personal development, but nothing seemed to land for me and I was miserable. And I was working at a dive bar that had a baseball bat behind the bar, just in case I needed a little protection because I was going to the bar by myself at 1 a.m. And I had worked there for about 3 years, and there was a night that I didn't have to use the bat, but I had to threaten with the bat. And that was the moment where I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So I went back to school and actually built my business while I was in college.
Wow. Okay. Incredible resilience. And it's a good thing you didn't have to use the bat.
Yeah. Very grateful for that.
Let's dive into the whole numerology thing. I'm curious, how did you first become interested in numerology and what drew you to specialize in it?
Yeah, this again is part of the story. I'm an ex-cocaine addict, and you name the type of abuse, I've experienced it. And again, always seeking this. I couldn't figure out what it was. I'd read the Bible front to back. I've read the Quran front to back. Personal development, I've spent over $150,000 in personal development and growth, and I still just wasn't happy. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was at an event, I was volunteering at an event as part of my curriculum in college. And it was in this room where there was a bunch of spiritual teachers, healers, Reiki practitioners, you name it. And there was a woman there who was talking about numbers. And I was like, I don't know about this woo stuff. It seems a little hokey pokey to me. And very much show me the evidence, show me the proof, and then I'm on board, which is why the Bible didn't hit home for me.
Right.
None of this stuff was hitting home for me. And I got a reading from her, and it was as if I had come home. Wow. It was this magical moment of, oh my God, you see me and I see me. And I've never looked back. It was that moment that I was like, this is the most powerful personality assessment I have ever seen. And I've done a lot of them. And it was, it felt like I was coming home.
That's fucking powerful and profound.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between what you do as a master book of life numerologist and a regular numerologist? Sure.
That's a fun one. So you can Google the meaning of numbers, and Google is intuitive these days. But this is an intuitive science that we work with. And I actually work with two different systems of numerology. So I work with Pythagorean numerology, which is the foundational base numerology that most people are aware of, if they are aware of numerology.
Right.
And I work with that a little bit. I'm very experienced in it, but where the magic happens is with this book of life. Now, the book of life is actually a deck of playing cards.
Okay.
So we don't actually know where the book of the book of life, the deck of playing cards actually originates from. When we look at the history of playing cards, they go back beyond ancient Egypt, and they have never changed design really in the entire time. If we look at the deck of playing cards, there are 4 suits. There are 4 seasons in a year. There is so much magic to them. If you add up all the numbers in the cards, it equals 364. And the Joker is a quarter of each suit. Like when you dig into the math, and I could geek out on this for days. And you can Google the playing cards and get a little bit of information online. But where the magic happens is in our intuitive ability to read what's going on. So we look at the playing cards in ways where I can help people create content online with it. I can help people have better sales conversations with it. I can use it for personality assessments. I can also help people understand more of their personal rhythm with it, when it's time to go and take massive action, when it's time to pause and take rest and to slow down a little bit. Those times of your year where it feels like all of a sudden I'm just foggy and I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
We can tell you that why, and it can give you a little bit of peace of mind. We create offers using it. The sky's the limit. It is unbelievable what we can do. We can look at relationship dynamics, collaborations, business partnerships, and see if these things work. It's a rabbit hole.
Holy shit. We could dedicate a couple of episodes to that.
Yes, it could.
Can you explain the basic principles of numerology and how it can be applied to understand an individual's life path?
Yeah. The universe is made up of a mathematical equation. Everything is math. And so we've simplified, the numbers have simplified what that looks like so that we can see the particular point of math where you came into this planet and became a human in human form. And with that, there are certain energetic influences, certain personality traits that come along with that. And for me personally, when I got my reading, I was working behind the scenes in everybody else's business, building everybody else's dream except my own. I had never spoken publicly in my life. I was terrified to be visible. And when I got my numerology reading, it said all over it, you should be a speaker. And it brought me back to when I was 5 years old. And I was on stage at this campground somewhere with a stupid fishing hat on and a cane. And I was hamming it up on stage. And I just remembered what it was like to be on that stage at 5 years old. And it brought me home. And immediately after getting that numerology reading, I started stepping out. I started speaking. I did my very first Facebook Live. It was awful. It was terrible.
As I'm sure everybody's first one was.
But then from there, I did a Facebook Live every single weekday for 4 years straight because I wanted to become that speaker. Now you put a video camera in front of my face. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'll just talk all day. So what it did for me was it helped me to step into who I truly am at the core. And to understand that and to see that rather than try to wing it through life and not really know what I'm doing. So I definitely support all my clients with that and show them what's possible.
I love it. And so how has this numerology influenced your personal life aside from you stepping into your speaking role and stepping into that path and your understanding of your own life path?
It has helped me become stronger, more resilient. It's helped me to understand my emotional ups and downs way more. For lack of a better expression, it's made me unfuckwithable.
I love it. I love that term. All right. Now, in what ways can numerology help people in their daily lives and decision-making processes?
Yeah, a lot of the work that I don't actually teach numerology. And so what I do is I set people up with their numerology blueprint, right? And then I show them, I can give them an annual forecast and give them the rhythm and the flow so that they know I'm in a particular season right now. And each season throughout your year is 52-ish days, depending on your date of birth. And so my clients know I should be thinking and brainstorming and really curious and trying new things, or I should actually be in my feelings right now and working on my relationships and calling in the resources that I need to achieve the goal. Or I need to be like, go time. Let's get this stuff done and go. Or maybe I'm in a season of my life where it's time to just reflect and integrate the lessons that I've learned and to really understand what it is that I've done so that I can see where I'm going. So we use this in multiple different ways with my clients and really understanding this is your rhythm. This is your flow. If you've ever tried to set New Year's resolutions and you weren't born in January, it's probably really hard.
Yeah.
Because your new year is actually on your birthday. And so I show a lot of my clients, oh, this is why you haven't been able to stick to your goals. If we set goals here, you're going to have more success. And all of them do.
Very interesting. So you said that you don't teach numerology. Is that a desire? No, you have no desire to do that.
I have no desire to teach it. I do have a recommendation for somebody who is amazing at teaching it. And she's the only person that I would ever recommend for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Now, How has the practice of numerology encouraged you to be more introspective and self-aware?
I think we all have our different tools. We all have our different modalities. It's simply a tool in your toolbox to help you slow down and think. I think that morning of just sitting quietly for 5 or 10 minutes and just contemplating and setting an intention is so powerful. But it also helps me at the end of the day when everything's gone wild and you're like, what just happened? And your hair's sticking up in 12 directions. You can look back and go, oh, that's why. And it allows some peace. I know for me, a lot of the numerology that I've looked at too, when my dad passed away when I was 16, I went back and looked at that time and it brought me peace because I could see what happened in the charts. Yeah.
So how long how long did you train for to become a numerologist? If someone wanted to become a numerologist, what's the length of the training and all of that?
Well, a lifetime.
Yeah. Because
it's such a rabbit hole, but you can learn the basics of numerology in less than 6 weeks. It is, especially this teacher that I do recommend. He has a very unique way of helping you to understand it intuitively versus trying to memorize because the numbers are a frequency. And they're constantly shifting and changing depending on the collective energy. And so if I were to tell you the 3 means this, tomorrow the 3 is going to mean something completely different.
Right.
So it's about feeling the energy versus mentally understanding it, which is why you can learn it so quickly.
Okay. All right. Very cool. What are some of the common misconceptions about numerology that you encounter and how do you debunk them? What are the top, let's say top 3?
I am not a fortune teller. I do not have a crystal ball. It is not this magical pill that's going to give you all the answers. It's going to show you what's possible, but you still have to take responsibility and pull up your adult pants and get the job done.
Do the work, yeah.
I do forecasting and I do show people what's possible with the energy, but unless you're aware of it yourself, you're just going to get lost in it. So I think that's really important that I forecast all the time, but I am not a fortune teller. I can't tell you should buy your house on this day and you should quit your job on that day. Yeah. I can look at the influences and say, this might be a great time for you to purchase a house, but you still have to do the work and go look for the house. It's
for sure.
In your lap. I think that's really important. One of the other misconceptions is that you can just Google it. I get this all the time. I Googled what the King of Diamonds was and that doesn't resonate with me. I'm like, yeah, because you're not looking at the big picture here.
Yeah.
Some of the spreads that I look at, I've got 99 different spreads that I look at that change on a daily basis. Sometimes throughout the day, it changes multiple times. And so the amount of education and wisdom and intuitive knowledge and study that goes behind this system is so much more than a Google search.
Yeah.
So please stop Googling numbers.
You're not going to get an accurate reading.
You are not going to get accurate reading. You'll get a little bit of tidbit. If you're just looking out of curiosity, that's fine. But if you're looking for it to be a way to support you in your growth, you got to work with a numerologist because it's such an intuitive science. Google's intuitive, but not like a human.
Yes, of course.
So that would be the second one. And I think the third one is this concept of angel numbers. The 444, the 1111. We Googled those too. And it's fun. But there's actually something to be aware of with angel numbers, that they don't actually mean anything except for the meaning you're giving them in that moment. So when you see 1111, 444, 333, you're probably, if you're not a numerologist, going to go Google it. And it's going to tell you this is everything that's happening. But that's not actually true because you're not aware of what you were experiencing in the moment that the numbers spoke to you. Because that's what the numbers are doing. They're just showing you feedback from the quantum field of what you're currently experiencing. So if you were experiencing, say, anxiety and doubt and insecurity, and the 333 pops up, the universe is like going, stop, interrupt your thought process right now. You need to shift. But if you're like lit up and creative and you're bopping to music and the 333 pops up, it's more like the universe saying, yeah, buddy, keep going. You got it. So the angel numbers are a bit tricky because again, Google gives you false information.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Now, let's say someone wants to pursue becoming a numerologist. where would you suggest that they start their learning journey?
With an intuitive numerologist. There's some books out there, but I don't actually recommend any of them.
Really?
I own all of them. And again, because numerology is such an intuitive science, we interpret it through our own filters.
Right.
And so the books that you read about numerology are interpreted through the author's perceptions and through their filters. And so you're only picking up on their filters, right? So you're not getting the full spectrum. So when this instructor that I recommend, and if anybody wants to learn more, just reach out to me and I'll connect you with her. She helps you to figure it out through your own filter.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will probably end up getting the books, but once you're aware of the filter that you're reading the numbers through.
Is there any book, though, to just grasp a better understanding of overall numerology that you would suggest, if any?
Again, no, not really, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because numerology is such a bit of a taboo, it's been very hidden for a long time. It's not mainstream like astrology is. And there's some reasons for that. I won't get into that. But there's a lot of secret libraries that are still holding a lot of the information that we don't have access to. The only one that I might suggest would be the Mystic Test book. Okay. It was somebody who was granted access to these secret libraries in the 1800s, and he was allowed to take some of the information. But again, it's very basic, and there's a lot of weird mathematical equations in it, and it's really complicated. So again, it's really challenging. It's easier to just work with somebody who's gone through that and read the book and understands the book.
Yeah, for sure. Relatability, easier to relate, for sure.
Yeah.
How can numerology assist in personal growth and self-awareness?
Oh my God. All of it. All of the above. Again, it's the ultimate personality assessment. And when you are aware of who you are and what's possible for you, it allows you to reach for more. One of the things that I say all the time, it's like a permission slip to be you. Right? Society has trained us to be stuck in this box where you should do this and you should want that. And numerology allows you to just break free from the box and break free from the limitations and go after what you really fucking want.
To put it plainly, I love it. How do you integrate numerological insights into your daily spiritual or mindful routines?
Every morning. Absolutely. I also use it a lot in my content. I'm really active on social media because I am an online business coach. And so I am showcasing how it can be used to create content on a daily basis. I post 7 days a week, 365 days a year, sometimes mostly more than once a day. Yeah. Not that my clients need to do that. I don't teach that, but I do because I'm super creative and I love to do it. I also showcase it in how it can be used to create better sales conversations. So when I get on a sales call with somebody, with a potential client, I don't want to just come to the conversation thinking that I'm talking to the same person all the time. So it allows me to be more empathic. Yeah, that's the right word. Empathic and compassionate towards somebody because I can see what their personality is. In answer to your question, I use it all day long, all the time. I'm constantly thinking.
You live it. You embody it.
I live and breathe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, in what ways has numerology deepened your understanding of the human experience and our place in the universe?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So not only can we look at individual readings and individual charts, but each day has its own energy, has its own experience, and collectively we all experience that. Just like we collectively experience the full moon or the new moon, we also collectively experience these numerological influences. So every year has an energy, every month has an energy, every day has an energy. And so we can predict how we might be experiencing things. For example, 2024 is an 8 energy year. The 8 is all about momentum, speed, things moving very quickly. I don't know if you've noticed, 2024 is halfway over. And we're like, what just happened? Right? But it's also, the 8 is about sovereignty and freedom and power and choosing to own your own experience and standing as the CEO of your life. We're all choosing to experience that too, right? We're either pulled to the I shoulds and the obligations and we're stressed out about it because we're too busy, or we're standing firm and saying, no, that's not what I choose for my experience. And those of us who are doing that are loving life.
We all have the power to choose. We all have a choice. It's just up to you what choice you decide to make for your life and for you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the coaching bit.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to become an intuitive and divine timing coach? And how did your journey begin? A lot of the women I speak with who are coaches now, there was a particular moment they can attribute to diving into the coaching world, a catalyst or a pivotal moment. So what was the catalyst or pivotal moment in your life that led you into this particular field of work and helping people transform their lives? And can you share a little bit about your journey, your story with us, and what that was all about?
I think there was many catalysts, and the first one was being born. But to answer your question succinctly, I was working as a virtual assistant. So I was behind the scenes. I was building all the tech, all the funnels, all the stuff that needed to get done behind the scenes of other people's businesses. And all I saw behind hundreds of businesses was absolute chaos. Mm-hmm. Absolute neurodiverse, trauma-induced chaos. Because coaches, we all need a coach. Every coach needs a coach. Mm-hmm. And there was just mess happening all the time. There was chaos, not only emotionally, but also in the systems and everything that was being built. And I recognized the need for my skill with technology, plus some of this universal law and thinking and creating like the universe versus trying to force and control the material experience. It was about 9 years ago or so that I took a course, and this course helped me to understand the science of how our brains operate, how our nervous system operates, and how to actually break free from trauma and to own our personality idiosyncrasies as a strength instead of a weakness. Okay. And I talked about this before, cocaine addict. My dad died when I was 16. Every single type of abuse you can imagine, I have experienced it. And that doesn't stop me anymore. Yeah. Whereas I see a lot of coaches who are still in their trauma or using their neurodiversity as an excuse instead of breaking free from it and using it as a strength. And so what I saw was my ability to help people with the tech and the online space and my ability to think and create like the universe and bridge the gap. And so my clients have, one of them, she said, I've been to the talk therapy for 15 years. I never thought I'd be free from this particular situation. 2 months after working with me, she is completely free.
When you think about it, the whole talk therapy thing, psychologists, and I'm not taking anything away from what they do, but what I've learned through speaking to many coaches is that, and they talk about this, is that if you're continually talking about it, you're talking, it's like, how are you ever going to get free? You're reliving it. You're reliving it every single time you talk about it. So how are you supposed to break free of it now? Yeah. Is that intentional to keep you there?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe.
That's up for interpretation.
That's another conversation.
I know my thoughts on that. But
yes.
To each their own. But yeah, you can't get free of it if you're continually talking about it and reliving it every time you talk. So absolutely, that makes total sense. And I think that's incredible and speaks to who you are as a coach and the work you do to help your clients. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Now, how have all of these experiences, these life experiences that you've been through, helped shape the Cindy you are today, both personally and professionally, would you say?
When I look back at my life, all I see is changeability, resilience, and strength. Instead of going through formal treatment for cocaine addiction, I moved to a country that had the death penalty if you do drugs. Wow, I don't mess around.
Extreme.
life at full blast, right? I don't mess around. But when I look back at my life, I am beyond grateful for the experiences that I've gone through, because it's molded me into somebody who is unstoppable, who is confident, who is brave, who's courageous. And again, there's that word, unfuckable, right?
Just waiting for that.
Right? Because even the addiction, I come to that now and I'm like, yeah, now I've got street smarts. I've got this intuitive ability to know when somebody's bullshitting me. And you can't bullshit a bullshitter, right? I'm very good at it because I spent 3 years learning how to bullshit people. No, I don't do that anymore, of course, because I've learned and grown and expanded. But all of those experiences have just created this magical human that is Cindy.
How did you first discover your intuitive abilities, and what was the journey like in embracing and developing them for you?
It was hard. It was really hard. Again, like show me the proof. I need to see it tangible in front of me. I need to be able to touch it, taste it, and feel it. You can't touch, taste, or feel your intuition, although some people actually do taste when they become their clairs open up.
Yes.
But for me, it was beginning to understand the science behind what's happening. I'm a very scientific, logical mind. And I had a mentor years ago who taught me how the universe works through universal law, through understanding the science of the frequency that we're all experiencing, through understanding that our material experience is actually only 0.01% of what we actually experience. And in mentally understanding that, I started to recognize and feel the frequencies because my mind was now on board that this could be done. I convinced my mind, and then I could feel it. And then it got really uncomfortable because what if I'm wrong? What if that's not right? How do I trust myself? Oh my God, I'm going to fire all of my VA clients and go completely off in a tangent. People are going to think I'm crazy. That actually happened. So but the only way that I learned to trust myself and to really open up my ability to really be intuitive, and every human is intuitive, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Was to take action, to do the damn thing, because action breeds confidence, not the other way around. And I found myself waiting for the confidence to arrive. Oh, I'll do a numerology reading for somebody when I feel more confident. No, bullshit. Do a numerology reading, get the feedback, and you'll feel more confident. And so for me, again, it was that courage. Just step forward and take a step. Take a step.
Yeah, if you wait for that courage, you'll be waiting a fuck of a long time. It'll never come.
Exactly.
It's true, 100%. So what is one tip or takeaway that you can provide which will support and help listeners so that they can implement immediately to start stepping into trusting their intuition? Because of course, trust is a big piece of that.
It is. I think it starts with self-love. I think everything comes down to self-love. And
yes.
At one point, I asked a mentor years ago, I said, how do I love myself more? And the best response ever, 1% every day. It's that whole atomic habits, right? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and just all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I love you. It doesn't work that way, right? And the same thing with trust. It's 1% more every day. And the next thing you know, 3 years later, you wake up and you're like, damn, all right. I
love myself.
Exactly.
It's everything. I believe everything starts here. We are the foundation for all of it. And you have to do that work here first before anything else.
Yes. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It is simple, but it's not easy.
For sure. It's a long road.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to put in the work.
Yes.
And look within. Yeah, for sure. But a lot of people don't want to look within because they're scared of what they're going to see or find. Yeah. But that excavating is the work, right? You have to do it for sure. Yeah. Nothing will change if you don't do it.
Yes. The other thing I want to add to that too is I think we have this misconstrued concept of what self-love is, that all of a sudden you become this perfect magical human and nothing is ever wrong and you don't ever yell at anybody ever again. That's bullshit. Self-love is learning to accept all of the pieces of you and to bring all of that to the table, which I think is why I love numerology so much, because it shows you your strengths and your weaknesses and your sabotages and all the things, but it invites you to love all of it and choose those things as strengths versus there's something wrong with you and you're broken.
Nobody's broken.
You
have to embrace the beautiful and the not so beautiful parts of you, the perfect. We are perfectly imperfect.
Exactly.
You got to embrace that. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now, as mentioned, and you've said it a couple times, you are the host of Life at Full Blast podcast. Can you share with us a little bit about the podcast, what it's all about, what inspired you to start the podcast, all of that stuff?
Oh my gosh. It used to be Rebel Radio.
Okay.
And at the time, everybody and their dog was telling me you need to plan a year out, marketing plan, the whole thing. And I was like, I just want to start a podcast. This is a passion project. So I ran with it and launched my podcast in under 2 weeks. 7 months later, it got picked up by a conglomerate and is now in every single country around the world except North Korea. When we get there, I will know we have saved the world. Rebel Radio was a series of conversations with like-minded, like-hearted humans, massive deep dives into unity consciousness, self-mastery, emotional mastery. And then it was 2 years ago, I decided it was time for a rebrand. And so Rebel Radio became the Life at Full Blast podcast. There are some conversations in there as well. I continue to do interviews with people that I admire and that I think are very influential in the world. But I also do a lot of solo podcasting as well, because I decided with the rebrand that I have a voice too, and I have things to share. So it's conversation, it's motivation, it's a little bit of business tips thrown in here and there. I haven't produced an episode for a while now, but it's coming back around. So I think I'm going to be back on there, and it's really going to be focused towards those coaches, the people who are wanting to do good in the world and make the world a better place, and how to do that without losing your own mind while you're doing it. Yeah.
As you said, it's about knowing when to take the pauses in that moment. And you've done that. And you now know that it's coming back around, and you'll know when the time is right to reignite that. So good for you for doing it. I had the honor and pleasure of being a guest on your podcast.
Yes,
and it was so much fun. We had a great conversation. Cindy is an incredible host. So if you are interested in appearances, reach out to Cindy and she'll put you through a vetting process.
Absolutely. I used to just accept anybody on my podcast. That has now changed. I realized with the Rebel Radio conversations that there were sometimes in the conversation that I was actually coaching on the podcast. And so now I do vet and make sure that the people are fit for the show.
There you go. What is one of your biggest failures or teachable moments, and what did you learn from it?
Oh man, which one? Cocaine addiction was one of them. But actually, most recently, it was just over a year ago, I was working with a mentor, and her and I were dear friends. She called me family. And I put her up on a pedestal and thought that she was the greatest thing since sliced bread, because I had worked with her for 7 years and her work had helped me change my whole life. She's the one who taught me universal law, numerology, everything. And within the last year of our relationship, my intuition started screaming at me. Something wasn't right. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And I didn't want to listen to it. And I didn't want to trust it, because it can't be true. This woman is family. But I realized that staying in her energy was actually what I have termed spiritual abuse, because it was a very narcissistic relationship, one which I was giving all of my energy to building her dream instead of my own. Again, I was back to being broke again. All of a sudden, the finances had dried up as a result of working with her. She owed money. There was just a lot of lack of integrity in places, and I didn't want to see it. I really didn't, because I loved this woman and she was way up on this pedestal. And then it all came crashing down when she ghosted me. And I had to learn how to, it was funny. So the day she ghosted me and we ended the relationship, I bought a house on the same day. A month later, I started my own company. And then 6 months later, I got engaged. And I was never, ever going to be a homeowner, nor was I ever going to live with another man, nor would I ever get married. But here we are. And so watching what happened over that year and seeing my own intuition saying, this isn't right. You got to get out. You got to get out. And then the universe just making it happen for me. Right. It was just like, boom. And now we're done.
Yeah.
Figure it out. What are you going to do? Are you going to wallow, or are you going to pull up your big girl pants and get it done? So I pulled up my big girl pants, because that's what I do. And I couldn't be happier on the other side. It's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I can't stress that enough, because throughout my life, physical abuse, self-abuse, drug addiction, emotional abuse, all of it. And the last one was spiritual abuse. There's nothing left. I'm on the other side. And so I feel more sovereign and free than I ever have in my entire life because of this. I've got more success in my business than I have ever had trying to build someone else's dream.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So I think the biggest lesson there for me was to stand on my own 2 feet and be that sovereign, powerful, courageous, brave woman that I know I am versus hoping somebody else would figure it out for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Giving the power away.
Exactly. Incredible. I love your story, Cindy.
Thank
It's
you.
just so inspiring. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
Which one? I love that you ask these questions. Just give me one. My authenticity, which is what you get when it comes to me. I don't bullshit around. I did enough of that in my lifetime. If you don't like me, there's the unfollow button. It's okay. Yeah. I have decided that people pleasing is no longer part of my MO. And because of that, I think that helps me to attract the people that are for me versus me trying to save everybody.
Which we cannot do.
Exactly. And then that allows me to actually do the work that I'm here to do and to support the people that I'm here to support and to not burn out and be exhausted at the end of the day.
Beautiful.
Just be me.
That's
pretty easy.
It.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple. Not easy, but simple.
Yes. Speaking of success, what does that word mean to you? How do you define success?
Such a tough one to answer. I think everybody's definition of success is different. For me, it's waking up in the morning and no matter what is going on in my life, finding that one thread of gold and being able to open my eyes and feel love or gratitude or whatever frequency I want to feel. Sometimes it's wealth because I'm worried about money. Sometimes it's courage because I'm afraid of something. But to me, success is being able to stand on my own 2 feet and choose my own frequency and choose my own thoughts and direct my experience where I want it to go.
You are the architect of your own life.
Yes.
What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Oh, man. I knew these questions were coming. The most important thing I've ever learned is how to love myself. Through all the abuse and all the crap, there was not a lot of self-love because I allowed those situations to happen to me. And I know if somebody out there is listening and you're like, oh, that trauma, that's not your fault. In a sense, it is. And I think learning to love myself was about learning to take responsibility for my experiences and seeing how the choices I made led me down that path. And that now I can look back and say, okay, yeah, because I didn't love myself, I allowed people into my experience who reflected that lack of self-love back to me. Not so that they could beat me up and hurt me, but so that I could see where I was going wrong and make different choices. And then I was able to love myself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit
1%.
more. 1%, right? Even when I asked my mentor that question, I already knew the answer because I had been loving myself 1% more the whole time. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Sovereignty. Nobody can tell you how to dictate your experience. You are not at the whim of anything that's going on outside of you. This outside reality isn't real anyway. And empowerment is being able to come here and to see and to feel who you are and to be unapologetic for it and to just be able to walk in the world in your own shoes, how you want to live it at full blast.
Of course. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing, okay?
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Brave.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Love.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Strength.
What's your favorite self-care practice?
Activations. It's a magical matrix thing that I do.
Okay. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
My laugh. That was
easy.
Infectious.
It is infectious. What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Nothing. I have it all.
Beautiful. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
That was fun.
You did awesome. I have a bonus question that I created that I did not send you.
Okay. I didn't really read the questions anyways. I am not prepared for this conversation.
If other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Authentic, integral, and courageous.
Beautiful. Cindy, what challenge in your life would you say has shaped you the most?
The loss of my father. When I was 16, he died suddenly, and it ripped my whole life apart. And it was because of that everything else happened and all the choices I made. And it's led me to this moment.
That was the first domino that fell, that triggered everything else. When you think about that, one event triggering a whole fucking slew of them that led you down the path you went, isn't that fucking mind-boggling when you think about it?
It is. And I think the whole humans experience that one moment. And we talk about being trauma informed, and this trauma has stopped me from doing what I want to do. And I think it's the human experience to walk through your trauma and to leave it in the dust.
What is one lesson your career has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Resiliency.
Cindy, what is one lesson your career has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Resiliency. 1,000%. I think being an entrepreneur, being a coach, especially in the online space, you've got to be able to pivot. If we didn't see that happen with the pandemic and all of the things that we had to figure out as people were all of a sudden not buying things, and then all of a sudden the coaching industry online blew up because everybody needed a side project and all this stuff happened. Yeah. We've got to be able to pivot very quickly. I think that has been part of my MO my whole life. So, I'm a cocaine addict. Let's go move to a country that has the death penalty. Pivot. Think of the episode from Friends with Ross carrying the couch up the stairs. Like, pivot. That's the constant MO of being in the career that I've chosen. And I see a lot of people in my industry who have nervous system challenges where the pivot is too hard. And it actually creates adrenal fatigue, burnout, exhaustion. But there is a way to create resiliency in your nervous system where you aren't burning out, where you're not creating that adrenal fatigue because you're not pushing all the time. People ask me all the time, how do you create so much? How do you get so much done? It's because I'm balancing my energy and I'm managing my nervous system like nobody's business. And that's what creates the resiliency. I'm not just go and never stop. I'm the Energizer Bunny because I take a minute to charge.
Yeah, for sure. You have to. We have to. Otherwise, you will burn out. And as we said earlier, you won't have anything to give to anybody, much less yourself, which is the most important person that you need to give to.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more you create more resiliency. It's just like when you take action, you get more courageous and you trust more. It's the same thing with resiliency. Your nervous system gets stronger the more you learn to pivot and grow and change versus just trying to stay here because it feels safe.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
That's such a good question. What do you value most in your life? I value most my ability to help people, which means that I value my health and my vitality, which means I value my authenticity and my integrity to what's most important to me. And I value the home that I have created. My fiance, my kitties. I don't have kids, but I have fur babies. So yeah.
Beautiful. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Mom. And I get to do that all the time. Thank God. But my mom, she was always the catalyst for me. She was my greatest cheerleader. She was the one who said, formal treatment won't work for you. You've got to do something else. She was the one who, through 3 years of extreme cocaine addiction, kept saying, I love you, but I don't love your actions. And I finally heard it. She was the one that helped me to see that I could love myself. And so I honor and respect every single moment that I get to talk with my mom.
Your biggest cheerleader.
Until I became my own, but yeah.
Exactly. She's your second biggest. She was your biggest. She's transitioned. She's dropped out of the race to second.
Sorry, Mom.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I have a funny answer and a serious answer. Hang on tight. It's going to be a ride. But the serious answer, in all seriousness, just love yourself and hang on tight, because it's going to be a ride and you're going to need that self-love.
Yeah. Lastly, Cindy, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
These are good questions. You can tell I am not prepared. What would I say in the last 30 seconds? You are the architect of your own experience, and nobody can tell you how you are supposed to live your life. You came into this planet as this beautiful, magical soul, and then you were programmed by everyone, society, your caregivers, your parents, to do things their way. And our job here as a human is to learn to break free from that and to be sovereign so that your soul can go do what it's meant to do. So own your power. Don't let anybody fuck with it. Love the crap out of yourself and go do what you want to do.
Beautiful. What a powerful way to end the interview. Cindy, thank you from the bottom of my heart for such an incredible and beautiful and inspirational interview. You are an amazing human being who I've had the opportunity to meet in person. And I'm so grateful for that. And to be able to call you a friend, you are a true inspiration. I appreciate you taking and making the time to be here with me today to share a little bit about your story, your journey, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. I'm honored to call you a member of the Empowerography community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Brad. It's been an honor. I love your questions. I love how deep you go. It's no joke. I love it. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be on your show, and I can't wait to see you in person again very soon.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. The honor and the pleasure is all mine. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Cindy Van Arnam. She is a Master Book of Life numerologist, an intuitive and divine timing coach, and the host of the Life at Full Blast podcast. Thanks so much, Cindy. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca. Follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.